Good evening, welcome
Hello,
back.
everybody.
Wednesday night, it must be John and Michelle. And all of you. So thank you for joining us. It's great joy again to connect with you, building this community, sharing what we have to share, the wisdom, the love and the joy with you. And it's quite a privilege to do this work with you. We're actually honored that you come and spend this time with us. So thank you for doing that. Tonight we have been doing an hour on a Wednesday, but we've decided to just shorten it to half an hour on a Wednesday, but Sundays will remain a full hour on a Sunday. So because we're doing two other calls with the group that we've got going, Journey to Freedom. And if you don't know about that, please go and have a look at our website, Journeys of Awakening, and the Journey to Freedom course is there. It's a 12-week course. This week is week 1. And we'd love you to join us. It's still time to join us if you want to join us. And the people who are on the course so far, we've had great feedback so far from the projects that they're doing. We received a beautiful collage that someone had done, which is really beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Really, really nice. From Linda. Yeah, so I don't know if you're with us tonight, Linda, but that was really beautiful that you did. Thank you. And please put it on the private Facebook group. I'm sure the others would like to see that as well. Okay. So this evening we're just going to center ourselves. Michelle's going to share a bit of her astrological wisdom and insights with us, because I'm sure all of you want to know what's going on with the planets. And she's going to have a look at where we're going over the next few weeks and months, really, with the planets. And then Michelle's going to lead us through a full moon meditation. Full moons are very powerful times, and we can align our consciousness with that power, with that feminine power, and and be part of the solution instead of being part of the problem. To realize, talking about that, I'm sure you've got a few things to say as well, is to realize that we all have a primary purpose and a secondary purpose. Most people are worried at the moment about their secondary purpose. That's to be the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, the mother, the provider, the doctor, whatever, the lawyer. That's all secondary. And yes, it is important, but it's not ultimately important. What's ultimately important is your primary purpose. And your primary purpose is to awaken to the light that you are, to awaken to the magnificence that you are, to awaken to the love that you are. And that is really important now. And I'll tell you why. Because although we're here, for our own healing journey, and that's why we come to Earth, but we're also here collectively, to heal collectively. And as we awaken and as we find that love and that peace and that joy inside us as our true beingness, so that light that comes through us goes out into the world and heals the world. We become the channel of light to heal the darkness.
We absolutely do. And this is quite a special full moon tonight. Well, it's tomorrow. If we're in South Africa, it's tomorrow at about midday. But the energy, you can generally feel the energy building like a day or two before full moon, and then after full moon as well for a couple of days. So you will feel it. It's not just a one moment event. It's an energy that builds and then starts to wane.
Okay, so as we do our meditations tonight, if we can just remember to become an open channel for the light to flow through you into the world. That's your primary purpose.
Yes.
So let's do what we always do. Let's just close our eyes and withdraw our mind from the day's events, from all other times and all other places, and just become aware of this.
Sorry, somehow the internet signal paused it.
So keeping our eyes closed, let's become aware of the stillness within us, the physical body that we have, and the awareness that we are that occupies this body. Become aware of everything you can feel right now, with your feet, with your hands, with your back maybe resting on the backrest of the chair, Become aware of the temperature of the room on your cheeks. There is a power and a presence that lives within you, that beats your heart, that digests your food, that takes the oxygen from your lungs to every single cell in the body, down the tiny capillaries to the furthest reaches of your body, bathing and nurturing every single cell in your body with nutriments, and then transporting the waste products back to the lungs to be cleared out. There's power and a presence that lives within you, created you. It's creating you in this moment. It's repairing you. It's repairing the cells. There's power in the presence that lives within you, listens, it sees, it feels, it touches, it tastes. Now this power and presence that lives within you is far, far greater, far more intelligent, far more loving than we could ever begin to comprehend with our rational minds. This power and a presence has a plan for you, for your life, in the same way that it has a plan for every single creature on earth, for every tree, every blade of grass, every drop of water in the ocean, every star in the heavens. And this power and presence that lives within you is love. And the greatest part of you, the highest essence of you, is that. So just settle down for a moment into your body and release any resistance to this power and presence. Surrender yourself into the magnificent light of this power and this presence. Surrender 100% into the waiting arms of life. And allow life to guide you. Allow life to live you. Allow life to take care of any challenge or problem which you may be facing. If you release it into the arms and the hands of the power and the presence that created you, you will open yourself up to a miraculous flow of events, and doors will appear where before there were only walls. Take a deep breath in, right down to your belly button. And release any resistance, any stress. Let it go. Relax your shoulders and your neck muscles. Take another deep breath in, right down to your belly button. And release. Just let it go. Take a third deep breath in, blowing your tummy up like a big ball. Big, 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 big ball. Up into the chest. And then release with a loud sigh. Relax. And gently, when you're ready, open your eyes. And as you do that, just become aware of how your body feels in this moment. How does your body feel now? You've given it some of your attention. It's more alive now than it was a few minutes ago. And as you align yourself with life, don't you find you feel a bit more at ease, a bit more at peace? It's when we fight life that we create dis-ease. When we align ourselves with life, we find ease.
That was lovely, thank you. Tell us how you're feeling. Be nice to know. Just give us a little message in the box below.
And also, we always like to know where you come from. So tell us the town, the city, the country that you're in. It's lovely to hear that as well. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. So tomorrow, sort of midday-ish in South Africa, we have a full moon, and it's in the sign of Scorpio. Not that you have to understand astrology. It's really, astrology is the study of energy, really, and it's based on the principle that we're all connected to everything that is. We're not separate. So we are connected to the movement of the planets, and John demonstrated that the inner light, the outer light. Very beautiful. So full moon is always a time of culmination and closure and release. So it's where every month we get a chance to release the month, and then the new moon 2 weeks later is when we plant seeds for a new month. So we get a chance to kind of renew ourselves every month. And this full moon is in the sign of Scorpio, which means that it's opposite the sign of Taurus, which is where the sun is. So when we have a full moon, the sun is opposite the moon. So it fully illuminates the moon. And the moon in astrology we look at as connecting with our feelings, our emotions, our nurturing needs. Our deep, deep feelings is what arises very often at full moon, because it's almost like a light shines on them. So it can be a very positive experience for some people. People feel it very differently. And for other people, they can feel it like a giant spotlight is shining on all of their issues and all of their fears and all of their emotional issues. So it can vary from person to person and where it is in your own chart. So Scorpio is quite an interesting sign because it is known by most people as the sign of the scorpion, and quite a few people are scared of Scorpios because they think that they're going to sting them.
There's a sting in their tail.
There's a sting in the tail, but that doesn't mean anything really, because that's just the lower level. A lot of people don't realize that there's different levels of Scorpio. So the lower level is the one that stings you in the foot, and it's really sore. I've been stung by a scorpion. It wasn't pleasant at all. That's the kind of the lower vibration of it. Then the next vibration up is the all-seeing eagle, which is it has got incredible powers of observation, can see what is disempowering, what's empowering, what needs to be cleared, and will basically be able to focus straight in. I almost think of a fish eagle, that amazing telescopic eye that the fish eagle's got, that they can see that fish and just dive straight for it. So that's the upper, sort of the higher level of Scorpio. And then the highest level is the dove of peace. So when we transmute our lower natures, which is the tendency to feel victimized, like someone's just stood on you, so you're going to sting them, and vengeful, we rise up and we become able to see the bigger picture, and then we rise up even further in our evolution. John was talking earlier about this is our inner purpose, and what we're doing here in our awakening is the only really valid real thing. So the dove of peace is where we actually rise above it all, and there's no judgment, there's compassion, and there's no attachments either. So those are the different levels. So any of those things can be triggered at full moon, this full moon, because it's Scorpio. This full moon is also in a really beautiful, what we call a trine. So it's a connection to the planet Neptune, and that gives us a sort of it's almost like a portal for healing and release. So this kind of evening where we're able to actually talk together and we're able to do a meditation is more powerful than it would be on any other day because of the very big energy out there. So maybe some of you have been feeling the energy. Maybe some things have been coming to a head. That's what tends to happen at full moon. They come to a head. But they're coming to a head, they're coming up from the unconscious so they can be released. So if you are feeling things coming to a head, don't worry too much. Notice them, see them, and let them out, and then surrender them. Because this is the time to let them go. So to clear the way, basically. How much time have we got? The other thing I want to just chat briefly about, and I have written a blog, so if you go onto my Facebook page, I've put that on a short while ago. It's got more detail in it, is that we are entering what we call the retrograde season, which isn't the best news because retrograde energy is kind of backward. So things generally don't move forward very well or very easily in retrograde cycles. Pluto's just gone retrograde. Saturn's going to follow suit, followed by Venus and Jupiter in the next week or two. And the bigger planets, the Jupiter and Saturn and Pluto, will stay retrograde for a lot of the year, sort of from October. So what does retrograde mean? Retrograde is about reflecting, re-envisioning, re-looking, and it'll generally say, okay, go back and look at what is still holding you back. So if those same things keep happening over again, look at the patterns and see what you could do differently going forward. So energetically, it's not as if nothing new is going to start, but retrograde periods are often the feeling of having to go back or to actually stay still and to develop patience and resilience and presence. That's what retrograde kind of pushes us to do. So it's very lined up with where we're at the moment. And it's going to be around for a while. The details are in the blog, so you're very welcome to have a look at that. And I think that what is happening, one of the major things that's happening right now, is that we are being urged to find the truth for us. So not to listen to everything that everybody else says and take it as truth. And that includes possibly the narrative on the news or on what people are telling us is actually happening, is to develop our own sense, our intuition, and say, does this resonate with me? Does this feel right to me? And if it doesn't, then question the narrative, because this is a truth-seeking moon, and this retrograde season is a truth-seeking season. So it's going to be for the next few months. And I think that a lot of stuff is going to come out of the closet that still isn't out. I think we're going to be learning things about our governments and about all sorts of different things that weren't apparent before. And so I think we've got to be more and more cognizant of our own intuitive sense. Yeah. And that is what we get when we go into quietness, because when we've been bombarded left, right and center by different people's opinions, we can't find our own truth because it gets confused. So I see this full moon as saying, what's the truth? You know, yes, you've got a belief system. Is that belief system still true, or is it redundant? Because this Pluto-Saturn thing is saying whatever is redundant, whatever is not working, must be released, because there's cracks in it. And if that's your foundation, then the house is not going to be very solid if it's based on lies. And that can even mean the lies that we tell ourselves, the stories that we tell ourselves. So to question those stories when we have a reaction, when we're triggered, to actually, maybe in the moment you can't do it because you're too triggered, but afterwards just go back and say, what was that trigger? What is the feeling underneath that reaction? Was it, if it was anger, what was underneath that anger? Was it fear? Was it terror? Was it sadness? And just see what that is, and see the stories that we're actually telling ourselves that we don't even know that we're telling ourselves a lot of the time. Yeah,
so there's something being predicted for a long time, and it's going to come one day when, and that's called the apocalypse. And if you Google apocalypse, it's all about the ending of the world, and it's about some mystic figure coming down from the sky. And that's a pretty modern sort of interpretation of the word. If you go back to the original Greek, it means for that which was previously hidden to be revealed. It means for the veil to come down, the veil of ignorance, the veil of lies to come down, and for that which was hidden to be revealed. Now that can be in a macro sense, and I think for a lot of people we start to see the truth about the way the world is run, the truth about the way governments are run. And that can be quite shocking for people if they've believed in a system, if they believed in a government that cares for them. And that is quite shocking. But there are many other layers deeper than that, the systems of control in the world, which have been hidden for hundreds, if not thousands of years. But also in our own individual lives, as Michelle said, we need to look at our own lives. What have we been hiding? Where have we not been authentic? What are the patterns of control that sit in our subconscious mind that need to be now released? And the way I see this retrograde season, and maybe you comment on it, is that I see it as a giant broom coming in and sweeping all the cobwebs away, sweeping all the rubble that no longer serves us away. So over the next few months, I can see a sweeping away of that which needs to be swept away. To get the cobwebs, the dust, the dirt out of the way, to open the windows and allow the light of conscious awareness to come in. And it's not to be fearful. We hide from the truth because we're scared of the truth. But in fact, that owns us. When we will not look at something, what we will not look at owns us and controls and runs our life. And if we want freedom, which is probably something which we're all yearning for at the moment, we have to be willing to face and to put the light of our attention into those dark places that we haven't wanted to look before and haven't wanted to accept before. We all want to live in a lovely cotton wool world where everything is looked after for us. Ultimately, it is looked after us, but not in the way that we perceive, not our systems, not our corporations or our governments. And that's not what they're there for. They're generally, the way the world has been constructed is very narcissistic, and we tend to reward narcissistic behavior. Now that is the old world, which is now needing to be swept away. And I can see quite a few hearts coming up onto our screen, and thank you for those hearts. But that's what we need. We need more love. And as Gandhi said, we have to be the change we desire to see in the world. We have to become more heart-centered, more connected. Heart is a state of allowing, accepting, embracing, and seeing the oneness in everything. So that's the broom, sweeping away the fears, the anxieties, the doubt, the guilts, and allowing the light of fresh new dawn to come into the world. And sometimes the clearing out is hard. Sometimes it is, because we're so attached to those stories that we've held in our head, as Michelle mentioned, those belief patterns that we've clung on to. Sometimes people, they'll hold a belief pattern even though they know it's detrimental to their health or their wellness. But it's a fear of letting go. And I say, well, if you trust the divine, if you trust life, let go. Let go. That which is real cannot be threatened. Let go and allow life to carry you. So that's the way we're going to be going. So, although we're going through retrograde where things don't tend to move forward, where there are a lot of challenges, I think it's good. It's a cleaning process which needs to take place. And I think you'll agree with that. This world needs to be cleaned up. I mean, this morning we went for a walk and we looked over the whole of Cape Town and the air was so clean. The mountains looked so fresh and clean. We're in a cleaning process. It's wonderful to see the air so clean at the moment. And that's the reward of going through a lot of turmoil, is we look back and we say, wow, look how fresh and clean it is all now. But we need to go through that stage that we're going through.
Yeah, we do. It's almost like the chrysalis, the caterpillar that goes into the chrysalis and dissolves. That's the cycle that we're in. I'm kind of seeing this whole thing as a dark night of the soul for the world, a global dark night where the old wasn't sustainable and it's dying, and we're not sure what's going to take its place. So we can fight this with all our might and resist it, which is our tendency because we want to be in control. Or we can say, okay, right, I can do what I can do, and the rest I'm surrendering, because I can't control the outcome of this thing, with my logical, rational, dualistic mind. So It is a process of letting go. And, you know, you can't rush the process. So we got to just be in it. And I think the more that we can surrender to it, the better. And, you know, Taurus and Scorpio, like this full moon, Taurus wants to stay and wants to hold the status quo. Doesn't want too much change, thank you very much. I want the stuff that I know is familiar to me. And Scorpio comes along and says, nah, whatever needs to change, must go. And that's the polarity of it. So just to be aware, if those things are coming up for you, just, it's fine. Let them come up. Because I think a lot of the time, as John said, we're too scared to look at them. We're too scared to look at our shadowy bits because we don't like them very much. So we pretend that they're not there. And we push them into the corner and we put them away and we close the door. And then when something like this happens, they come up like little monsters to feed. So it's better to just see them so that we can sweep them away. So, yeah.
And in this process, to realize that you have immense power within you to influence the future. And if you feed the virus of fear, that you have to reap. But if you start to realize that you've got immense power in you, and the more acceptance you bring to this, the more love, the more joy that you can bring into your day-to-day activities, the more you are that positive influence in the new world that's being born. This morning at the end of our walk, as we got back to the gate, there was a guy walking down the road and he angrily ripped off his mask. He'd been walking around with this mask on his face and he angrily ripped it off. And we stopped him, we spoke to him for a few minutes, and he had so much anger within him about this whole system of control and manipulation. And that's fine. Yes, maybe we do need to have anger to see through the facade of what's going on. But ultimately, anger is not going to give us a new earth based on love. It has to be through acceptance. So remove your mask, yes, but do it with a peaceful nature. Remove your mask with acceptance that there was a silly idea in the first place, or whatever. If you want to wear your mask, that's fine. It's extremely unhealthy to exercise wearing a mask. I'll tell you that right now. You lower your oxygen level and you do so much damage to the body. It's not a good idea for your immune system to exercise wearing a mask. I mean, if the government said put your head in a pail of petrol, would you do it? I'd say no. You've got to have, so Michelle mentioned earlier, we've got to have resilience, and I think the other thing is we've got to have discernment. We've got to discern what is right within us and stop listening to authority. You know, our whole lives we've been programmed, someone else has got the answer out there, let's listen to them. And the answers are within your own heart. If you release fear, the only thing that blocks your intuitive voice from being heard is that fear that you hold in your mind. So do what you feel is right. That's important. And feed the world that you want to grow.
Yeah.
And that surely is a world based on love and compassion and empathy and care.
Yeah, and if that anger arises, let it arise and then let it go. So if it comes up, it comes up.
Correct, yes.
Then let it be there and then let it go. Because it's not serving us to hold on to it.
Yeah.
So if we're sitting in a state of resistance all day with our fists clenched like this chap, he said, I'm going to go and beat somebody up.
Yeah.
Shame. He's doing himself more damage than anybody else because the government doesn't care. So, yeah. So it's just to feel it and then let it go as quickly as you can after you felt it. So we weren't going to talk a lot tonight, but we have landed up talking quite a lot, John. So we're still going to do a meditation. So for those of you who want to stick around, it's not quite 8 o'clock. So we'll do a meditation. It's going to be a releasing meditation. So please stick around if you can and enjoy. So,
and then afterwards, if you stick around, we're going to draw another one of these affirmation cards if you're enjoying those. Affirmations are powerful ways of shifting consciousness. So after Michelle's meditation, we'll draw a card. Yeah. Shall we put the lights off and just make yourselves comfortable?
That's nice. Okay. So just settling in, connecting with your breath. Nice deep belly breath, all the way in And a releasing breath out. Let's just do one more. Big breath in. And a sigh out. Sigh out the day. Just sigh it out. Just let it all go. And just check in this moment with where you're at. How you are right now. Connect with any sensations you might be feeling in your body. Just noticing any areas of tightness or restriction, pain, or you might be feeling joy, you might be feeling lightness. So just connecting with what you're feeling right now. And continue to breathe. Just breathing naturally in and out. And you're basically just noticing what's coming up for you. Just in the quietness, noticing where you are. And if you feel an area in your body that is stiff or restricted, send your breath straight into the middle of that area. And now imagine the beautiful moon shining in all her glory. Imagine her above your head, her silvery light raining down on us gently. And just allow the light of the silvery moon to flow in through the top of your head like a gentle waterfall of silvery, liquid, nurturing light. And let that beautiful energy come filtering down into your face, relaxing it as it does so, relaxing your head, relaxing your neck, and then let it go down into your shoulders, dropping your shoulders, down your arms into your hands, which you can put palms up on your lap, down into your torso, front and back, into your hips, down your legs, into your feet, and out through the bottoms of your feet. You're bringing light from above and anchoring us to Mother Earth. Spread those roots from underneath your feet right down deep into Mother Earth. And connecting with this vertical plane of presence in this moment. And now take your attention to the middle of your forehead. And in your mind's eye, picture yourself walking along a path in nature. The moon is full. It's evening. You're perfectly safe. And the moon is shining a pathway for you as you make your way through this beautiful place in nature. You might smell what you can smell, feel the texture of the air on your cheeks. And now imagine that you come to a clearing and in front of you is the most beautiful river. And Mother Moon is shining her light in a pathway on this river. Stand on the side, on the edge of this river. Connect with the energy of this moon. It's powerful but gentle. It's there to soften us and to strengthen us. See if you can open your heart even more to this moon. You can sit up a little bit, put your shoulders back, and imagine opening your hands, opening your arms wide to bring in the wisdom that's available to you always. And now connecting with yourself. Just connect with what you believe you would like to release into the light of this moon. What is it that really holds you back? What is it that limits you, that stresses you out, that makes you anxious, that causes drama in your life? You might come up with a word, you might come up with a feeling. Whatever comes to you, don't question it. Accept what comes to you, whatever that is. And imagine placing that, whatever it is, into the river, into the pathway of the moon. And let the water carry it away into the direction of the moon. So you basically are releasing it into the light. Receive it for you. So breathing out as you release it, set a really big intention to just release whatever it is that's blocking your light, that's holding you small, that restricts you and limits you inside from feeling liberated inside yourself. And you might want to do that again. Just check back in with yourself and say, is there anything else that I would like to release into this beautiful illuminated pathway? And you might want to throw it in the river. You might want to put it gently on a leaf and float it down the river. So just connecting if there's anything else. Could be a person, it could be a belief system, could be a concern, could be an emotion. And feel the lightness in your body as you release it. Breathe it out. Just let it go. Let it go. And then bring the light in. Let that light shine all the way into your cells, illuminating you, clearing away whatever is not necessary, and creating a pathway for something new. As you imagine yourself looking into this beautiful moonlight, just see if anything arises. It could be a symbol, it could be a word, it could be a feeling. Something that could help you in the future, could help you over the next few months. If you look into the sky, look into the water, see what emerges, what word emerges for you, what symbol emerges for you. If you don't get anything, that's okay. And if you do, just accept it. Give gratitude for it. If it resonates with you, place it into your heart. And I imagine taking the light of that moon and placing it right in the middle of your heart, softening it, lightening it, expanding that heart of yours, and then radiating that light out onto the river, back to the moon, and out further to as far as it can go. Connect with your breath again. Just gently breathing normally. Connect with your body. Connect with how you feel right now. See if you feel any lighter, or if anything's changed from when you checked in the beginning. And now take a deep breath in and a releasing, relaxing breath out. And another deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, gently, in your own time, open your eyes.
It was beautiful. Wasn't it beautiful? That moonlight glistening on that wonderful river. Pathway of silver. Really beautiful. Thank you, Michelle. It was really beautiful. Yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, just give us a comment or give us a heart. Or
You're still awake?
You're still awake. Yeah, that's super. Thank you.
We got a heart.
You got
Somebody's
a heart.
awake.
Yeah, somebody's still awake. Shall we just close this
Let's
evening
do
by
it.
pulling an affirmation for us for the next few days till Sunday? We've got a purple one. Purple card. What does this one say?
It says, I choose right now to be here with God in presence.
I choose right now to be here with God in presence. Just hold that in your heart. Hold that in your heart. I choose to be here right now in presence. Right now. Thank you. Wonderful. We'll see you on those on the course. We'll see you tomorrow night for a longer session. But on Sunday night, we're going to be looking at the mind, the soul, and the spirit, and how they interact and play with each other, and how they influence this life that we have as a human being. So it's going to be mind, soul, and spirit, what they are, and how they interact with each other to create this wonderful experience called the human being. So thank you for joining us tonight. We enjoyed your company. Please leave us a comment, and if you enjoyed, share it with your friends. Just press the share button as well. That's really great. Thank you, and we'll see you, those on the course, tomorrow night. Otherwise, Sunday evening at 7:30. Yes. Thank you.
Is it 7:30?
7:30 on Sunday.
Yes, 7:30. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Good night. Bless you.
Good
Thank
night.
you.